Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Good evening, Hare Krishna.
Recording in progress.
Om Agena Timiranda Agyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mano Bishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayarupa Kadama Yam Dadati Svapadantikam. Ванча Калпатарубьясча Крипа Синубя Эва Чапатитанам Паванабьё Вайшнавабьё Намо Намаха. Джая Шри Кришна Чайтанья Прабху Нитянанда Шри Адвейта Дадхара Шри Васади Гаура Бхакта Вринда. Харе Кришна, Кришна Кришна, Харе Харе, Харе Рама, Рама, Харе Харе. So during our previous classes we were discussing how one can be detached from the fruits of his activities, as far as you remember probably. So the nature of our activities were described, that everything depends on consciousness with which we are executing our activities, we are doing our activities. And today we have to cover a lot of verses. Let's pray to Supreme Lord Shri Krishna that he could help us to do this. In verses from 15 to 18, some more knowledge about how we are acting is given from verses 15 to verse 18, and then from verse 19 to verse 40, different aspects of our activities will be discussed, how it is manifested in three modes of material nature. So we'll be speaking about three types of knowledge, three types of activity, three types of the performer, one who performs activity, three types of understanding, three types of determination, three types of happiness, and all these things we should cover today. Can you imagine or not? Because this 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is so huge. So just to save time, some verses I will read myself, and then we will be reading these verses one after another. Verse number 15. Sharira van manobhiryat karma prarabhate narach nyayam va viparitam va prapanchaite tasya hitavaha. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, and speech, and caused by these five factors of activity, or five causes of activity that we were discussing previously: body, soul, super soul, senses, and cheshta, endeavors. Five. So these actions are performed on three levels: BMW. It is automobile. BMW. B means body, M means mind, and W means words. So when someone is taking sannyas, usually the representative of sannyasa ministry is saying to the candidate, to one who takes sannyas, may you have nice BMW. Means body, mind, and words. Means serve Krishna on these three levels nicely. Verse number 16. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the five factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. So this Bhagavad Gita gives intelligence to us. We read these books, we are trying to synchronize our understanding with the understanding which Krishna gives us here through the pages of Bhagavad Gita, and we can also pray to Krishna to understand Bhagavad Gita better. And then Krishna will respond, will reciprocate, and he will give us more intelligence. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamu payantite. It means he gives intelligence to those who are sincerely and regularly performs devotional service to him. So we should be broad-minded. Krishna is asking Arjuna, and he is asking us also to be broad-minded. Externally, it looks like only we are those who are acting. Only we are the doer, kartaham iti manete. Externally, it looks like this, but Krishna is asking us to be more intelligent, to be more broad-minded, to understand that all these 5 material causes are influencing, means body, soul, super soul, senses, and endeavors that are done by senses. Endeavors means what? Endeavors means cheshta in Sanskrit. So Srila Prabhupada, he writes in here in this purport that one who doesn't see the Supreme thinks himself to be the doer. It means that antidote to this materialistic worldview, when someone is thinking that only I am the doer, is the process of Bhakti Yoga, when we chant holy name of God, when we chant holy names of Krishna, and then by purifying force, purifying power of these holy names, gradually we understand it is not that only we are doers, but there are some more causes of our actions, four causes more. Verse number 18.17. One who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, doesn't kill, nor he is bound by his actions. So here, Krishna, he is speaking directly about Arjuna's situation. Arjuna is frightened that he will cover himself by sinful reactions. Here, Krishna gives the understanding, spiritual understanding, that if you follow my order, then there is no karma, it is akarma. Then just don't have any fear. So what makes the difference? The difference is made by the position from which we are acting. We can act from the position of false ego, or we can act from the position of real ego, genuine ego. Real ego means I'm servant of Krishna, I'm doing whatever is ordered to me by Krishna to do. And if to speak about false ego, it means I myself, I know better than others. I don't need any advices. When we will be discussing influence of 3 modes of material nature on different people, it will be mentioned in the verse. You can also take a note if you wish. We will cover this verse also today, but anyway, it is verse 18.25. 18.25, the nature of activity in tamagun. Tamasic person is acting in such way that he is relying only on his own experience. He is not about to take advices from other living entities. He just he is so confident that he thinks that his own experience is really sufficient. So, real ego, to act from the position of false ego, it means one of the aspects, one of the symptoms which shows that one is acting from the position of false ego. I know better than others. I don't need any advices. Don't tell me what to do, and so on and so on. In a spiritual organization, we are trying to be corrected and directed by our spiritual authorities. It is not some kind of unhealthy dependence of one person from another person. It is not some kind of unhealthy dependence. It is the need. It is the need. We need someone who will be guiding us. We should not rely on ourselves only. So we're going to the next verse, and of course here the analogy is given here about this akarma dimension, that when a soldier kills under the command of a superior officer, he is not subject to be judged. But if a soldier kills on his own personal account, he is certainly judged by a court of law. Well, the example is quite clear, I hope, right? Quite clear example. Verse number 18, 18.18. Knowledge, the object of knowledge and the knower are the three factors that motivate action. The senses, the work, and the doer are the three constituents of action. It means that, and of course, all these things can be influenced by three modes of material nature. It is exactly what we will be discussing now. That knowledge can be presented in different modes of material knowledge. It can be under influence of different modes of material nature. And the knower himself, means person himself, can also be under the influence of three modes. So everything is covered by three modes of material nature here. At the last verse of today's section, 18.40, I hope we will cover that verse also. We will be able to to cover. In verse 18.40, Krishna himself, he is saying that even great demigods are influenced by three modes of material nature, because they also belong to Jiva Tattva category. They can be great demigods. So many things are depends on demigods, but because they are Jiva Tattva, because they are situated in material world, so these three modes of material nature are influencing. Knowledge, object of knowledge, and knower. Knowledge, jnana, then object of knowledge, gyeyam. This term was already mentioned in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Gyeyam means something which should be known by our endeavors to study Vedic scriptures. Gyeyam means Krishna. Our goal is to understand who Krishna is. Gyeyam, or object of knowledge, means Krishna. And Parigyata means the knower. And let's see what is written here. Okay, Jnanam, Gyeyam, Parigyata, knower. Then also three ingredients of action. Action consists from senses, means karanam, then karma, work, and karta, doer. So we have very short purport for this verse. We can read this purport. There are three kinds of impetus for daily work: knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower. The instruments of work, the work itself, and the worker are called the constituents of work. Any work done by any human being has these elements. Before one acts, there is some impetus, which is called inspiration. It is really important. Without inspiration, you cannot do anything. That's why in a nectar of instruction, you will get to know from the third verse these qualities that are really needed to perform Bhakti Yoga. Utsaha Nishchaya Daryat. And this list of 6 qualities that are really needed for Bhakti Yoga, this list starts from inspiration, from enthusiasm, from utsaha. If there is utsaha, then something can be done. There is no utsaha, nothing will be there, you know. Of course, there can be utsaha maya, false enthusiasm or real enthusiasm, but anyway, enthusiasm is enthusiasm. And because of our activities, gradually we can purify our enthusiasm, our mentality, our mind. Before one acts, there is impetus, which is called inspiration. Any solution arrived at before work is actualized is a subtle form of work. Then work takes the form of action. First, one has to undergo the psychological processes of thinking, willing, and feeling, and that is called impetus. Well, even some follower of so-called New Age techniques, in some esoterical circles, they are saying that First, everything is created on subtle level, right? Everything is created as some kind of idea or some kind of plan. First, you have a plan in your head, then on the basis of this idea, you can do something. So that's right. Psychological processes are going first, and then we can physically do something. The inspiration to work is the same if it comes from the scripture or from the instruction of the spiritual master. When the instruction is there and the worker is there, then actual activity takes place by the help of the senses, including the mind, which is the center of all the senses. The sum total of all the constituents of an activity is called the accumulation of work. So maybe this conception can be a little bit unclear, but anyway, you meditate on this. Now we are going to the next verse, and everything will be much more clear because we will be dealing with different classifications of knowledge and activity and determination and so on under influence of three modes of material nature. But anyway, these ideas are quite easy to understand, that there is a need of inspiration, there is a need of plan, there is a need of personality who will be performing particular activity, right? And then all these things can be under influence of different modes of material nature. And there are symptoms of this, verse 18, 19, and we will ask Dwarkadish Prabhuji to read this verse. Good evening, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Text 19. Jnanam karma cha karta cha tridaiva guna vedata prayojate guna sankyayane yata cha churnu dhani api. Translation. According to three different modes of material nature, there are three kinds of knowledge: action and performer of action. Now hear of them from me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You see, it is just some kind of introduction. The real knowledge goes from the next verse. So, Dwarkadish Prabhuji, you please read the next verse also. It will be. It starts from the knowledge in. It starts from mentioning what does it mean knowledge in Sattva Guna. Verse number 20.
20?
Yeah.
Text 20. Tarubhutesu yenaikam bhavam avyayam iksate avibhaktam vibhaktesu tajnanam vidhi satvikam. Translation. That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness.
Hare Krishna. So this type of consciousness was already described in 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Vinaya Sampane, and so on, about the wise person who is able to see common spiritual nature of any living entity. It doesn't matter who he is, tiger or cow or dog or brahmana and so on. So it is a mode of goodness. It is perception in mode of goodness, and Lord Kapila Dev also gives similar instruction in 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Here it is chapter 29, in which devotional service in different modes of material nature is described. Very important, very interesting chapter. 29th chapter of the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So here Lord Kapila Dev directly gives the instruction to the devotee that the devotee should regularly see my statues in the temple. It means Archa Vigraha. Touch my lotus feet and offer worshipable paraphernalia and prayer. He should see in the spirit of renunciation from the mode of goodness and see every living entity as spiritual. Every living entity is spiritual. So here in purport, Srila Prabhupada explains what does it mean how this Archivigraha is perceived by different devotees. It can be neophyte devotee or it can be advanced devotee. It's quite interesting. A neophyte considers the Archivigraha or the statue of the Lord to be different from the original personality of Godhead. He considers it a representation of the Supreme Lord in the form of a deity. But an advanced devotee accepts the deity in the temple as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He doesn't see any difference between the original form of the Lord and the statue or archa form of the Lord in the temple. So it is the question of vision. So the same way, he doesn't consider Archivigraha to be just a representation of Krishna. The same way, again, this verse from Bhagavad Gita is mentioned here, that Pandita, or one who is learned, educated person, he sees equally a very learned Brahmana, Shudra, hog, dog, and cow. He doesn't see the body, which is only an outward dress. He doesn't see the dress of a Brahmana or that of a cow or of a hog. He sees the spiritual spark, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Again, there are three levels of devotees: Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari. If we are speaking about ability to see the spiritual spark is invisible, right? We know this from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It is invisible. Here it is written, he sees. How he can see if it is invisible? It is one of the qualities of the soul. It is the solution. The answer is very simple. It is Shastra Chakshu, or the ability to see world which is around us through the eyes of scriptures. It means that physically he is unable to see. Well, maybe some Uttama Adhikaris, maybe they can see something, or maybe they can see some kind of effulgence or whatever. I don't know, I'm not on that level. But if to speak about Madhyama Adhikari, or those who are in intermediate level, and this Bhakti Shastri program, Bhakti Vaibhava program are meant to elevate us on the level of Madhyama Adhikari because of this systematical studying of the sacred scriptures. Systematical studying of the sacred scripture helps one to build strong faith and clear understanding of what is what, who is who, and so on. And because of that, this ability of Shastra Chakshu, or ability to see this spiritual nature of everyone, gradually develops just because of our purification, of our spiritual elevation. Again, it is not physical vision, it is vision through the intelligence. Our intelligence, which is purified by Guru Sadhu Shastra, and then because of that, we are able to have particular attitude to living entities who are around us without dividing them or without discriminating them because of their bodily features. But those who are under influence of mode of passion, they are distinguishing, they are making differences. Narottama Prabhuji, would you like to read the verse number 21? Hare Krishna.
Pritaktena tu yajnanam nana bhavan pritak vidhan veti sarveshu bhuteshu tatjnanam vidhi rajasam. Translation: that knowledge by which one sees that in every different body there is a different type of living entity you should understand to be in the mode of passion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see different types of nationalism and different other isms are created, are born from this influence of mode of passion when people are differentiating. They are discriminating between different forms of life, and they are saying these people are better and those people are not. Like in like in Germany in 30s, in 40s, in previous century, they were trying to judge who belongs to so-called Arya civilization and who don't belong, and how they are trying to judge it by the form of their head, by form of their head, and they were measuring all these things, and they were saying that this person belongs to one category, that person belongs to another category. So this mode of passion also not only about making differences between different forms of life, but also it is about to divide living entities into categories. Someone are our friends and someone are our enemies. They are our enemies. Why? Because they are different. They are not like we are. So each time when we are dealing with such conception, it means this conception is created under influence of mode of passion. It can be different ideology, different philosophy, but it can have a different name, different ism. But everything is quite simple. Everything is divided in three modes of material nature, and these laws are described in Bhagavad Gita and in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is quite clear. Also in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 29 chapter, verse 22, 23, the Pujari, who is under the influence of mode of passion, is described here. He's supposed to be under mode of goodness, because goodness is really needful for deity worship, for devotional service. It is stepping stone for us to achieve transcendence, transcendental level. But anyway, life is life, and devotees can be under influence of different modes of material nature. So those who are under influence of mode of passion, those who are discriminating on the basis of bodily conception, Kapila Dev is not encouraging to act in such way, and he is saying, one who worships the deity of Godhead in the temples but doesn't know that the Supreme Lord as Paramatma is situated in every living entity's heart must be in ignorance, not just in passion, but also in ignorance, must be in ignorance, and is compared to one who offers oblations into ashes. Understand? Oblations into ashes. It means Agnihotra, you have seen fire sacrifice, Agnihotra. There is used to put grains or ghee in fire when there is fire. But when there are only ashes, there is no need to put there anything. So it is useless activity. So the same way, if someone is worshipping to the deity, but still he is dividing, oh, this is Indian, this is American, this is Russian, this is Malaysian, and so on. So this bodily conception is still there. It is oblation to the ashes. Devotees, they should try to make themselves free from these ideas. Of course, each and every nation has particular culture. So from that point of view, of course, we have to discriminate in that sense that devotees, they have different culture, and when we have to find particular approach to particular people, of course, we discriminate a little bit, but this spiritual understanding on the basis of spiritualized intelligence which we get from Guru Sadhu Shastra, it is really needful. Otherwise, what happens? The conflicts are created very easily just because devotees, or those people who are considered to be devotees, they are looking at each other and they are judging each other only on the basis of bodily conception. They are perceiving each other as they are bodies. Not good. Verse 3, 29, 23. One who offers me respect but is envious of the bodies of others and is therefore a separatist. We were speaking about this separatist mentality, which is typical for Rajaguna people. and is therefore a separatist, never attains peace of mind because of his inimical behavior towards other living entities. So if we will be fixed on our stepping stone, which is Sattva Gun, it will be really easier for us to live this life. Otherwise, mind will not be peaceful, like Lord Kapiladev is saying in that verse. Verse number 22. And we will ask Mataji Achyuta to read this verse number 22. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yattu Krishna vad ekasmin karye saktam haitukam atar varta vat alpam cha tat tamasam udadridam. Translation. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see, knowledge in Tamagun is knowledge, so-called knowledge or so-called conception of life, when one thinks himself that he is body, and we have a nice example in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is verse 10, 84:13, very famous verse 10:84:13, in which it is said, one who identifies his self as the inert body composed of mucus, bile, and air, who assumes his wife and family are permanently his own, who thinks an earthen image of the land of his birth is worshipable, or who sees a place of pilgrimage as merely the water there, but who never identifies himself with, feels kinship with, worships, or even visits those who are wise in spiritual truth. Such a person is no better than a cow or an ass. So, in a purport to this verse, 18.22, Srila Prabhupada also saying that this knowledge, which is in mode of darkness, this knowledge doesn't make a difference between a human being who has this knowledge, this conception of life, human being, and animal. When our human life becomes human life, in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a story when Sanatana Goswami approached Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first time, and he asked him two questions. And our acharyas are explaining that if a human being is asking these two questions, then he can be considered as a human being. If he is not interested or he is not intelligent enough to think about this, to get these questions, then he is not a human being yet. So these two questions are, the first question, who am I? Who am I? The first question, who am I? And the second question, why I'm suffering? Why I'm suffering? If I'm not asking these questions, then there is doubt. Am I a human being or I'm just in human body? And that's all. But my mentality and my consciousness is not human yet. Who am I? And why I'm suffering? These two questions are very important. So also we have one paragraph here in purport to the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam 4:28-24, where Srila Prabhupada explains that actually this tamasic knowledge, so-called tamasic knowledge, is very typical for modern human society. He writes here like this: human civilization devoid of Krishna consciousness is simply a civilization of lower animals. Sometimes such a civilization may study the dead body and consider the brain or the heart. However, no part of the body is important unless the spirit soul is present. In a modern civilization of cows and asses, scientists try to search out some value in the brain or heart of a dead man. Such modern civilization. So this knowledge is not only about some category of people, but it is general tendency that knowledge is mainly to facilitate these 4 types of activities: eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. And the whole industries, can you hear? Industries are working to improve someone's sleep, someone's sex, someone's defense. It works like this. So what is the solution? The solution is to preach Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Verse number 23. And Mataji Keshavi Palini, please read the verse number 23.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Niyatam sangarahitam araga vesata khatam aphala prepsuna karma yattat satvikam yuchate. Translation. The action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for fruitive results is said to be in the mode of goodness. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So the same points are repeated again, that you should not be attached to the fruits, that you should not desire the results, and it should be regulated. Regulated, it means it is regulated by Shastra. Regulated means regulated by Shastra. It is directly written here in purport. Regulated occupational duties as prescribed in the scriptures. Means regulated, it is from Shastra. So basically, nothing to discuss here, because we already were discussing these things many times. We can only take the example of Ambarisha Maharaj from 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He is a pure devotee. So whatever he was doing, it was without attachment, is what it was regulated. It was regulated according to the Shastra. And it was without any sense desire, sense enjoyment desire. Maharaja Ambarisha, real saint, he always engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna, his words in describing the glories of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the Lord's temple, and his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna, Krishna's temples, and Krishna's places like Mathura and Vrindavana. He engaged his sense of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord devotees. He engaged his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulsi offered to the Lord, and he engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord Prasada. He engaged his leg in walking to the holy places and temples of the Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, and all his desires in serving the Lord 24 hours a day. Indeed, Maharaja Ambarisha never desired anything for his own sense gratification. Again, you see, this point is emphasized here. He was doing this in regulated way, because it was prescribed by sacred scripture, not because he personally wanted to do this. He engaged all his senses in devotional service and various engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. Material desires are like anchors who are not allowing us to go to the spiritual abode. Like, you know, the story about new married couple. This story was told in one of purports in Bhagavad Gita. New married couple, they are trying to reach the opposite side of a river. They are sitting in the boat, and they told to the boatman, right? Narottama Prabhuji, right? They told to the boatman, now we're giving you money, and you please deliver us to the opposite side. You remember this story, right? So that person was trying his best, but they didn't go. They could not go anywhere because he didn't remove the anchor. This person who was the boatman, he forgot it, so he was just working the whole night, and they were just standing at one place. So it is the way how one can become free from material desires. Just engage all your senses, working senses and senses, perceiving senses in devotional service. In more details, it will be discussed in Nectar of Instruction, verse number 1, right? And also you can analyze your own life and try to understand how you are engaging your senses in devotional service day after day, what you are doing, how you are using your sense of touch or sense of smell. Do you use agarbatis? Agarbati. Agarbati means incense sticks, incense stick. Do you use agarbatis sometimes and so on? You can analyze these things. Self-analysis is always good for spiritual life. We're going to the next verse number 24. And Mataji Mira, please read this verse.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yattu kampepshuna karma sahankarena vapunaha krityate bahula yasham tad rajasham udahritam. Translation is Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires and enacted from a sense of false ego is called action in the mode of passion.
Hare Krishna. So again, the same ideas are repeated, that false ego is ruling the situation, symptom number 1, the desire to satisfy or gratify senses or to fulfill the desires, number 2, and also, as probably you remember from 17th chapter, different categories of tapasyas were described. So tapasya in passion, tapasya in rajagun is typical. It is typical that this tapasya is performed with great effort. Like Srila Prabhupada is giving the example in 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the situation when people are trying to construct the skyscraper. You remember? Skyscraper. And a lot of work is needed to construct such huge building. A lot of people are struggling and trying their best to construct such big building. And for what? For commercial needs, because after this it will be sold or it will be used as hotel, 5-star hotel, and these rooms will be expensive and everything. So it is all in mode of passion. And we're going to the verse number 25. Mataji Manju Bhashini Vishnu Priya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 25. Anubandham kaksham himsam anupakshecha paurusham mohad arabhyat karma yatat tasmad uchate. Translation: the action performed in illusion in this grade of spiritual injections and without concerning for future bondage or for violence or distress caused to others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Maybe you remember the hunter Mrigari who was saved by Narada Muni. It is a good example because he was killing animals as a hunter. Not just killing, but he was doing his activities in such way that these animals were half killed, and they were suffering just before before leaving their bodies. And when Narada Muni asked Mrigari why he is doing like this. Mrigari told, it is our family tradition. My father was doing like this, my grandfather was doing like this. We are not killing these animals immediately. We are making them half dead, and then we're just looking, observing, and taking pleasure from this because we're seeing they are suffering. It is our pleasure. And Narada Muni told, don't do like this. If you are killing animals, at least kill them immediately. Just decrease their sufferings. Then he told to Mrigari that if you give sufferings to others, then in future you will get the same sufferings. And then Mrigari became really frightened. He didn't want to suffer. He became really frightened and he asked Narada Muni, what should I do? And Narada Muni gave him instructions. You just throw out your arrow, and just sit and chant holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare. But what I will be eating? Where I will get my food? Hunter is asking. And Narada Muni is answering, you don't worry, Krishna will provide. And Krishna really, he provided because these inhabitants of this village, when they got to know that Mrigari became a saintly person, they immediately started to give him food. And when Narada Muni next time came to that place, then Mrigari told him, everything is nice. The only problem is that they bring too much food to me. I don't know what to do. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me what to do. Mrigari asked Narada Muni. It is a very interesting story. So Tamagun makes one indifferent to the scriptural injunctions, and the person is not thinking about his future. It is very typical for Tamagun, about his own future, about future of others, about this perspective that others will be suffering and myself will be suffering. It is typical for Tamagun, for ignorance. And of course, even devotees, if they get bad association, they can also become like this. We have very nice example in 6th canto of Bhagavatam, when Ajamila accepted such lifestyle. He previously he was grown up in Gurukul. He had spiritual master. He was following orders of his spiritual master, but then he degraded after seeing some sexual intercourse between Shudra and Shudrani in the forest, when he went to the forest to bring some wood for fire sacrifice for his spiritual master. Then he degraded, and then he married a prostitute, maidservant, and lost all his Brahminical qualities because of the association of that low-class woman. It works like this. If we accept bad association, we can destroy our spiritual life. It works like this. So this fallen Brahmana, Jamila, gave trouble to others by arresting them, by cheating them in gambling, or by directly plundering them. This was the way he earned his livelihood and maintained his wife and children. Verse 23. My dear king, while he thus spent his time in abominable sinful activities to maintain his family of many sons, 88 years of his life passed by, and so on and so on. It is a very interesting story. So it is activity in Tamagun when someone doesn't know what will be the consequences. Not only he doesn't know, but he also is not so concerned about this. And also this example of Ajamila, in this particular period of his time when he was under influence of this sinful mind and mode of ignorance, it is also a nice example of knowledge in Tamagun, verse 18.21. Knowledge in Tamagun. This knowledge is really limited in the sense that Ajamila he is only concerned to earn his livelihood and to maintain his wife and children. By any means. The only one idea he had to maintain his wife, to maintain his children, and it doesn't matter what he will be doing for that. So it is also tamasic knowledge, and it is also tamasic activity. Fortunately, this story has its happy end. You know the story of Ajamila, it has this happy end. We are not going to discuss the whole story because our time is limited. Because of that, what we can do? We have no choice. We have to rush a little bit today. But next week, I hope it will be not so there will not be such need to rush, but we have to rush a little bit today. And if you are getting some questions, you please write down, and then by the end of our talk we will cover the questions if you will be having the questions. Okay, just because really we have to cover these verses. Verse number 26, 27, 28, it is about the performer in three modes of material nature, verse number 26, and we will ask Taruna Jagannath Prabhuji to read this verse number 26. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama.
Mukta Sango Anahamvadi Driti Utsaha Samanvitaha Siddhi Asidyo Nirvikaraha Kata Satvika Uchyate. Translation: one who performs his duty without association with the moods of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, is said to be a worker in the mood of goodness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see in Nectar of Instruction, you will get to know that there is so-called utsahamaya, or false enthusiasm, which is mainly driven by opinions of others. If we are glorified by others, or we see that these people are accepting happily our service, then we are inspired. But if we are not getting such respect or and so on, then someone can be a little bit how do we call it? A little bit frustrated. So real enthusiasm doesn't depend on this, because it is our connection with Krishna himself through Archa Vigraha, through Srila Prabhupada's books, through Holy Name of Krishna. So that's why here in purport Srila Prabhupada writes that if this worker is in the mode of goodness, then his enthusiasm is not wavering in success or failure. He is always enthusiastic till the completion of such work. He doesn't worry about the distress undertaken. It is also a very important point that he is not so much disturbed about the troubles that he has to take. Because of the execution of devotional service. It is called burden of love. Maybe you have heard this. Burden of love. Like it is a burden, but the practitioner accepts this happily because he understands that by practicing devotional service, I express my love to Supreme Lord, to Spiritual Master, to devotees like this. That's why Srila Prabhupada, he is translating this word combination, devotional service, not just love for Godhead, but he is translating this term Bhakti, Sanskrit term Bhakti, not just love for Godhead, but he is translating this like devotional service. Srila Prabhupada emphasizing that love, it is not just some feeling or sentiment, but it is expressed externally, it is expressed in form of particular actions that are meant for pleasure of Supreme Lord. That's why he is translating this term Bhakti as devotional service. So he doesn't care for success or failure, he is equal in both distress and happiness, and it means that he is situated in the mode of goodness. Means if something makes us unhappy, it means we can continue to develop mode of goodness in our consciousness. And verse number 27 describes the performer who is situated under influence of mode of passion. Mataji Divya, would you like to read the verse? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 27. Ragi karma palaprepshor labdo himsatmatko matko sashruchitaha harsha shokanvitha kartha rajasaha parikrititaha. Translation: the worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
You see, when we chant holy names of Krishna, gradually we develop this so-called position of observer inside ourselves. We chant holy names, and sometimes some thoughts are coming and going, and it is not that we are identifying ourselves with these thoughts, but we can observe these thoughts like from the distance. This quality or this skill comes when we chant holy names of Krishna attentively. So in such way we can understand that there is difference between ourselves, from one side, from ourselves and mind. We are not this mind. It happens when we chant holy names, and in such way our consciousness becomes purified, and it means we are not moved by joy and sorrow anymore, because we are able to observe these states of mind like from the distance without identifying. But those who are under mode of passion, they are identifying, they are taking their thoughts seriously. It is one of the qualities of a devotee, the ability not to take the production of our mind seriously. Mind produces different thoughts, or different emotions are there, and of course we can pay attention to this and we can do something with this, but one should not be moved too much by joy or sorrow, or one should not take it too seriously, because today we have one mood, tomorrow we have another mood, and if we want to be in a proper mood, in mood of Krishna consciousness, what is the solution? You know the solution. We should chant holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We should chant holy names, and we should read books, and then our consciousness will be stable, and we will be happy, and we will be fixed in a proper understanding of our own nature and proper understanding of circumstances that are around us. But those who are under mode of passion, they are attached to the fruits. They are moved by their own emotions. They are emotionally unstable. Also envy, greed, impurity, these qualities are symptoms of the influence of mode of passion. If we see these symptoms in ourselves or in someone, it means that this particular mode of material nature is acting now. And again, just by studying these different symptoms of modes of material nature in Bhagavad Gita, gradually we can do what? We can learn to distinguish, to discriminate what is Rajasic, what is Tamasic, what is Sattvic, and we can understand what should I accept in my life, what should I reject. It is really helpful knowledge. Much less knowledge. And Vanaja, maybe Vanaja. Can Vanaja read? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Prabhu.
Only if you can.
Ayukta Prakta Stabada Sata Nashtrika Lasa Pisadi Dirga Sutrecha Karta Tamasa Yuchate. Translation. The worker, too high, Prabhu, I cannot see. The worker who's always,
Hari
the worker
Hari.
who is always engaged in work against the injunction of the scriptures, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see, also important instruction, don't procrastinate. Srila Prabhupada, he once forced his disciples to publish 17 volumes of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in 2 months. Maybe you have read this story from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. To publish the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita in 2 months. So that's why it is it is the reason why these illustrations, these pictures in Chaitanya Charitamrita are so simple, because they were working 24 hours. It was the marathon. They were typing the text, the translation of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the artists were painting these pictures, and when one artist was falling down because he wanted to sleep, then immediately the next artist was continuing to paint the same picture. So there is no copyright for some pictures in these books, because it is not so clear who is the painter. It is made by group of painters. Well, all copyright belongs to BBT, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. Copyright is there. So Srila Prabhupada gave the highest standard of what doesn't mean not to procrastinate. He was really unhappy that these books are published so slow. Because it was like this. He himself was able to translate and to provide his how to say, whatever was written on typewriter. He was able to provide these pages to the BBT in his speed. Srila Prabhupada's speed to write these books was he was quicker. Srila Prabhupada, he was able to do it quicker than BBT was publishing the books. Only one Srila Prabhupada, he was writing the books quicker than BBT was able to publish. BBT, it means the group of people. Srila Prabhupada, just one person. Of course, he is Shaktivesha Avatara. But anyway, he himself was able to provide these pages to publish much more quicker than BBT was able to publish. So that's why Srila Prabhupada forced his servants, two disciples who were in charge of BBT, to speed it up, to publish these books in 2 months, the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita, and they did it. All glory to BBT and all glory to these devotees. It is the example of that it is possible. In the very beginning, these disciples were thinking that it is not possible, but because they understood that their own spiritual life now really depends on this, will they will be able to publish these books or not? They understood that the whole spiritual life now depends on this. So they thought a little bit, and then they understood that actually we can do it. It will not be easy, but we will be able to do it. So procrastination, it is one of the symptoms of tamagun. Anything which can be done in an hour, Srila Prabhupada is writing in purport, anything which can be done in an hour, they drag on for years. Likely you know such people who are doing like this. Let's wish them all the best. Let's wish them spiritual advancement. Verse number 29. Dwarkadish Prabhuji, would you like to read the verse? Hare Krishna.
Buddher Bedam Draste Chaiva Munata Stri Vidam Srunu Prochayamanam Asesena Pratakvena Dhananjaya. Translation: O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You see, again, Dwarkadish Prabhuji, again, you've got the introductional verse. So let's read one more. Verse number 30.
Okay.
Okay.
Pravritim cha nivirtim cha karya karye baya bandam moksham cha ya veti buddhi sa partha satviki. Translation: O son of Partha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness.
Hare Krishna. So you see, we're speaking about understanding, or we can say about intelligence. Intelligence which can be under influence of different modes of material nature. So here the main symptom of sattvic intelligence is described, that it is intelligence which is able to manifest Viveka Shakti. Maybe you remember this term, Viveka Shakti, or this ability to understand what should be done, what should not be done, what is to be feared, what is not to be feared, what is binding, what is liberating, and so on. So this Viveka Shakti, as we know from 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we get from Shastra. It means understanding or intelligence cannot be in mode of goodness if it is not in contact with Shastra, with sacred scripture. It means basically that asuras or demons, they cannot have intelligence in mode of goodness because it is their nature to reject sacred scriptures. Means they are not able to have intelligence in mode of goodness, only intelligence in lower modes of material nature, tamagun, rajagun, and so on, Viveka Shakti. So a very nice example can be taken of an intelligence in sattvagun. It is the example of Arjuna. He is saying to Krishna, Shishyasteham, Shadhimam Tvam Prapanam, I'm your disciple. I am a soul who is surrendered to you, now you please guide me. So by saying this, Arjuna, he is expressing this desire. He is expressing this desire that please help me to understand what has to be done, what I should not do. Please help me to manifest this Viveka Shakti in my life. In purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, performing actions in terms of the directions of the scriptures is called pravriti, or executing actions that deserve to be performed, and actions which are not so directed and are not to be performed. One who doesn't know the scriptural directions, or we can also say those who not only those who don't know the scriptural directions, but also those who don't want to know. Such category of living entities is also there. So anyway, such living entities, they becomes entangled in the actions and reactions of work. Understanding which discriminates by intelligence is situated in a mode of goodness. So Arjuna, he is asking Krishna to guide him. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. In case of Arjuna, Krishna is his spiritual master. He is representative. He represents this Guru Tattva here in this Bhagavad Gita. He is original Guru, Adi Guru. So he gives the guidance and helps Arjuna's Viveka Shakti to be revealed. Verse number 31. Mataji Navina Jagannatheshwari, please help us with this verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Ya dharma adharma cha karyam eva cha ayat hayat rajanati buddhim sa rata rajasi. Translation. O son of Partha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So again, this classification of understanding or intelligence, verse 30, verse 31, verse 32, it is about Viveka Shakti only. It is about Viveka Shakti only. Those who are under mode of goodness, they are able to distinguish. Those who are under mode of passion, they are unable to distinguish. And at least they are able to be conscious that I'm unable to distinguish. It is their capacity. But those who are under mode of ignorance, they are taking black for white, white for black. They are perceiving everything in opposite side. Means their Viveka Shakti works in opposite way. At least those who are in mode of passion, they can understand that, okay, I am unable to distinguish. It is, at least it is something. When a person is able to understand that his knowledge or his understanding has some limits, it is already good. But those who are tamasic people, they are thinking that they are right, but they don't have any good conception or good understanding in their minds. And Narottam Prabhuji, would you like to read the verse 32?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Adharmam dharmam itiya manyate tamassavrita sambhathan viparitamscha viddihi sapartha tamasi. Translation. The understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see how it is important to accept spiritual guidance, because otherwise, especially if we are just beginning our spiritual life, or if someone is a neophyte, he just has started his spiritual practice, it means that ignorance is 100%, it is there, and it means that guidance is needed, otherwise some false conceptions will be there, or speculations. We were speaking about speculations in the very beginning of our module, that there is mental speculation and there is philosophical speculation. Maybe you remember the difference between mental speculation and philosophical speculation. By the way, maybe some of you can say what is the difference between mental speculation and philosophical speculation. Does someone remember what is the difference between these two things? Hare Krishna. Do you remember? It was in the very, very, very beginning of our module. Do you remember what is the difference?
Whimsical activities, bro. Whimsical activities or whimsical thinking. Not as a prescribed thinking, following this.
Okay. You are speaking about which category of speculation?
I mean, when we are in the mode of ignorance, we are simply doing things without a proper understanding or proper reasoning.
Okay. Mental speculation and philosophical speculation. Very simple thing, very simple difference. Mental speculation is just is based only on my mind, whatever I think, whatever my opinion is. Philosophical speculation is based on philosophy. It means I don't know proper answer on particular question, but I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to find the answer on the basis of Shastra. And then I don't know to which conclusion I will come. Maybe it will be proper conclusion. Maybe it will be wrong conclusion. But anyway, if it is based on Shastra, it is much more safe. It is called philosophical speculation. Mental speculation is just based on my personal experience and on my own mind. That is the difference. We're speaking about this in the very beginning. Do you remember now about this?
Sorry, Prabhu, just one thing. The activities based on whimsically, activities based on prescribed duty, there are two different. Prescribed duty is based on the Shastras. Whimsical is based on the mental concoction.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dwarkadish Prabhuji. It was good. Narottama Prabhu, what is the question?
So, Prabhuji, can we say that mental speculation is always wrong?
Mental speculation, because our mental capacities are limited. Maybe you remember this story about two frogs. One frog was able to see Atlantic Ocean, and another frog was living its life in the well. So how the second one can understand the nature or the size of Atlantic Ocean? That is the point. So usually our mental capacities will not help us to understand who Krishna is. I remember somewhere in Bhagavad Gita, in one of purports, it is written that by his mental capacities, a person can come only to the conception of impersonal Brahman, just by analyzing in such way that we have some variety in material world. It means that in transcendence, in metaphysical world, there should be no varieties. And according to such logic, one can gradually come to the platform or to the understanding of impersonal Brahman. It is the maximum which one can achieve using his mind. If we want to get more mercy of Supreme Lord, we need Shastra. We cannot avoid it. We cannot generate it or figure it out just with our mind. It is impossible because it is limited. Like this well in which the frog was living. That is the point. Okay. So it is verse number 32. And Viveka Shakti is working in opposite way. I would like to show you some verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is famous 12th canto, where some predictions regarding Kali Yuga are given. Maybe you already have read these predictions. Symptoms of Kali Yuga, 12th canto of Bhagavatam, chapter 2. And this Viveka Shakti, or this understanding in Tamaguna, is already predicted that it will be there in Kali Yuga, and some symptoms are already there. Like, for example, text number 2. In Kali Yuga, Wealth alone will be considered the sign of a man's good birth, proper behavior, and fine qualities, and law and justice will be applied only on the basis of one's power. Or, for example, verse number 4. A person's spiritual position will be ascertained merely according to the external symbols, and on the same basis, people will change from one spiritual order to the next. A person's propriety will be seriously questioned if he doesn't earn a good living, and one who is very clever and at juggling words will be considered a learned scholar. Some symptoms of this Kali Yuga, which are mentioned here, we already can see. We already can see in our modern society people who are juggling words. They are famous YouTube bloggers, right? Bloggers on YouTube, and also this situation that law and justice is applied only on the basis of one's power. It is also quite typical situation in some countries. I would not say that in all countries, but in many countries, in some countries. Or for example, this verse number 6: a sacred place will be taken to consist of no more than a reservoir of water located at a distance, and beauty will be thought to depend on one's hairstyle. Filling the belly will become the goal of life, and one who is odious will be accepted as truthful. One who can maintain a family will be regarded as an expert man. Yeah, it is not so easy to maintain family in Kali Yuga. One who can maintain a family will be regarded as an expert man, and the principles of religion will be observed only for the sake of reputation, and so on and so on. It is the second chapter of the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. You just read this chapter and be happy. because Kali Yuga just has started, and the symptoms are not, some of the symptoms are there, but they are not so, how to say, they are not so prevailing, and we have great chance to practice Bhakti Yoga in this Srila Prabhupada society and happily get out from material world without waiting when this Kali Yuga will start to flourish, will take the whole power. We can chant holy names and get out from material world. You know, it will be very nice. So it is typical for Kali Yuga in general that this Viveka Shakti works in opposite side, and understanding is such that it is understanding in mode of ignorance. Verse number 23, and whom we are going to ask? Well, Mataji Mira. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dritya yaya daryate mana pranendriya kriyaha yoge navya vicharinya driti sa partha satviki. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. You see, I don't know about you, but in my case, this determination and mode of goodness is very much inspires me. Very much inspires me when I see this quality in actions of our spiritual masters. When they are determined to serve this Srila Prabhupada society, and when these qualities are there, like here it is written that it is unbreakable, and it is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice. It means they are always meditating on Krishna, and it can be seen that they are absorbed in this connection, in this Bhakti Yoga with Krishna. And it looks very inspirational and inspires a lot just when we see the person who is determined on a spiritual level, who is determined in the mode of goodness. And also here it is written that such determination controls the activities of the mind, life and senses. It means what? It means if we have such intelligence, if we have such determination, it is the one of the functions of intelligence. It is one of the functions of intelligence, according to the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It means if someone's intelligence is strong, one of the symptoms of this is that one will be able to be determined to achieve his goals. The willpower will be there. Willpower will be there. It is related to the intelligence also. So if someone has such intelligence with determination in the mode of goodness, what does it mean? Controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses. It means that someone has such consciousness or such intelligence which will protect them from stupid actions. From stupid actions. It is so important. Sometimes our conditioned nature can dictate us. You go there, you do this. And this dictation of conditioned mind, conditioned nature can ruin our spiritual life if we will follow everything, But there is opposite side, opposite power, which we get from Guru Sadhu Shastra, which helps us not to deviate from spiritual path. And it is spiritual intelligence which we get from Guru Sadhu Shastra. This quality is so important. And of course it is important to be unbreakable in our determination, even if there are some reasons to think that our desire cannot be fulfilled, our goal cannot be achieved. Anyway, it is really important to be determined to act to achieve this goal. It is called Ashabandha. Ashabandha, this term is there in Nectar of Devotion. Ashabandha means to hope against hope. You understand? To hope against hope. Devotee, sincere devotee, he doesn't consider himself to be worthy to get Krishna's mercy. But anyway, he understands, okay, I'm unworthy, but Krishna is merciful, and his mercy is much more powerful than my disqualification. And because of that, I have a hope against any hope that Krishna will help me. It is called unbreakable determination in mode of goodness. And we have a very nice example in Bhagavad Gita in verse 6.24. Maybe you remember this story in purport. The example of the sparrow who lost her eggs in the waves of the ocean. Verse 6.24. A sparrow laid her eggs on the shore of the ocean, but the big ocean carried away the eggs on its waves. The sparrow became very upset and asked the ocean to return her eggs. The ocean didn't even consider her appeal. So the sparrow decided to dry up the ocean. She began to pick out the water in her small beak, and everyone laughed at her for her impossible determination. Impossible for sparrow only. But our strategy is very simple. We are trying to act in determined way, and we hope to get help from outside. The help of a powerful person. In our case, Krishna's help. And we will be able to attract this help if we are determined, if we are not giving up, even if there are some reasons to give up. Externally, it looks like it is a hopeless situation, but anyway, we are continuing. The news of her activity spread, and at last Garuda, the gigantic bird carrier of Lord Vishnu, heard it. He became compassionate toward his small sister bird, and so he came to see the sparrow. Garuda was very pleased by the determination of the small sparrow, and he promised to help. Thus Garuda at once asked the ocean to return her eggs, lest he himself take up the word of the sparrow. The ocean was frightened at this, and returned the eggs. Thus the sparrow became happy by the grace of Garuda, and we also will become happy by the grace of Krishna. The only one point is to attract Krishna's mercy by our determination. Externally, it looks like our situation is hopeless. And some practitioners can also come to the same conclusion. I'm chanting holy names for 1 decade or 2 or 3 or 4, and still I have no taste. What to do? It looks like the process is not working. Even if it's not working anyway, don't give up it. Don't give it up. Even if it looks like it doesn't work, even if you are not experiencing any taste or sufficient taste anyway, we're continuing, and then Garuda, well, in our case, Krishna, he will help us. It is the question of our determination. Such determination is very attractive. It attracts, well, as I told you, it attracts me when I see this quality in our spiritual leaders, how they are determined to serve Srila Prabhupada, to serve this movement, to serve Krishna. So the same way Supreme Lord is also very much inspired to see this steady intelligence and steady determination when person is steady enough to be protected from stupid activities and is acting for spiritual benefit, his own spiritual benefit and spiritual benefit of others. Nevertheless, it looks like the situation is hopeless or maybe not so easy to achieve spiritual abode, to understand who Krishna is, and so on. Of course, if we are saying that, oh, it's so difficult to understand who Krishna is, yeah, it is difficult. Moreover, it is almost impossible. There are a lot of verses in Srimad Bhagavatam that one cannot understand who Krishna is. And even Krishna himself, he doesn't understand himself totally. That's why he came here as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to understand his own feature, his own quality, by which Srimati Radharani is attracted to him. That's why. So he himself doesn't know himself in total, and each and every living entity knows Supreme Lord only according to the rasa, according to particular type of relationships, not just the whole picture. And will we understand who Krishna is or we will not understand? It depends on Krishna, because he can reveal himself to the sincere soul, or he can cover himself. He can hide himself from this soul by the potency of his energy, like he already told it in 7th chapter. Maybe you remember, in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Those who are considering me to be an ordinary man, I'm just covering myself, hiding myself from such people who are thinking that I am just ordinary human being. I'm covering myself from them. So if we are able to understand something about Krishna, it is only because Krishna, he decided to reveal himself directly or through instructions of spiritual master anyway. But it is not that we are able to understand them using our own mind. Verse number 34, and we will ask Mataji Madhu Bhashini Vishnu Priya to read the verse number 34. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 34. Yaya tu dharmam kamartan dirya dharatya arjuna prasangena phala kakshit duratsa partha rajasi. Translation: but the determination by which one holds fast to fructivate results in religions, economical development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the same way, someone is the follower of Vedic tradition, he is trying to achieve Dharma religion, Artha, economic development, and Kama, sense gratification. But anyway, his only desire is sense gratification, like Srila Prabhupada, he writes here in purport. So even externally, following some religious rituals or religious traditions, the living entity in mode of passion, he's thinking, if I follow some religion, there should be some use. Can you understand? Some use of this religion for me. It is not that I'm serving to Supreme Lord and I'm deriving happiness from this, but religion should serve me. Religion is for people. God is for people, or people is for God. That is the conception. So those who are thinking that religion is for people, what is the use of religion if people are not getting anything from this? It is the conception in mode of passion. People who are under this conception, people who have this understanding, they are described here in the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.30. 7.5.30. We already were quoting this verse from Prahlada Maharaja's teachings, but let's quote it again. 7.5.30. Матірна Кришне, паратах сватова, мітхо бхі падєта гріха вратанам, аданта губхір вішатам та місрам, пунах пунашчарвіта чарвананам. Because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life make progress toward hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has been already chewed. Remember, their inclinations toward Krishna are never aroused, either by the instructions of others, or by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. Why? Because griha vratanam, which means, where it is? Which means addiction to materialistic bodily conception of life, or how our previous acharyas, they are explaining, griha vrata means vow or promise, and griha vrata means they vow to enjoy one's senses. Living entity is determined to enjoy his senses. It is the same way, determination of the same level, like for example, we took the vow before our spiritual master to follow our spiritual practices. And now determination is here. We're not going to give it up. We're not going to deviate, and so on and so on. The same way, griha vrata. Griha vrata means the materialistic person who is really determined to enjoy his senses. It is like he or she took the vow to do it. So it is the consciousness of those who are under mode of passion, and they also can be determined. What lesson we can take from there? Very important lesson for our life. You can take a note if you wish. If you see a person before you who is determined, it doesn't always mean that this person is right. Those people who are materialistic, those people who are ignorant people of Kali Yuga, it is sufficient for them just to see some kind of charismatic person who is really determined, who is really confident in what he is saying. But we have this knowledge given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, which helps us to understand that, okay, externally this person looks like he is confident, and if I'm an ignorant person, then I can easily take that, okay, he is so confident, looks like he is right, because he is confident. The whole propaganda is built on this tendency, which is typical for materialistic people, ignorant people, who are not able to use this Viveka Shakti. They just see some kind of determined or self-confident person, and automatically they think that this person is right. I should take him as my leader. What do you think of this? Very interesting point. Okay, verse number 35. Verse number 35. Looks like we haven't read this verse 35, right? We haven't read it yet. Okay, so Mataji Achyuta, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yaya swapnam bhayam sokam visadam madam cha na vibhunchanti durmeda driti sa partha tamasi. Translation. And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such unintelligent determination, O son of Pritha, is in the mood of darkness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he is dreaming. Tamasic man is dreaming in physical sense that he is sleeping a lot, and dreaming in the sense that, here it is written, always dreaming of lording it over the material world. Or if to speak about from practical point of view, he can dream about career, but he is tamasic, he is not doing anything. He is just dreaming. I will be having career. I will take such and such position. I will be having a lot of money. I will be having a big house and so on. But what is typical for such people, they are not doing anything to achieve these goals. If they will be doing something, it means they are under influence of passion. At least some passion is needed. If we have some plans, we need some passion to fulfill it. They are dreaming that I will take some position, I will accomplish some great plans. Or for example, in religious organizations, some people, they can dream, oh, I will become Guruji, I will become sannyasi. And it doesn't matter that they don't have any qualities to be to be sannyasi or to be guru. They are just dreaming. There are such people like this. They are just dreaming and not working on their qualities, but so it is dream only. It is only the illusion. How we can get out from this dream? By being corrected and directed. If we are under spiritual guidance, then our spiritual authorities will very easily tell us, Prabhuji, this plan is not realistic. Or Prabhuji, better do something else. Better don't do this, do something else. And also, if we under guidance, spiritual guidance, then that symptom of tamagun, this tendency to procrastinate, also will not be there, because leader, he will be always asking, what about devotional service? What did you do today, this week, this month, and so on and so on? They will be asking for reports. It is really important. Like Srila Prabhupada, in one of his last classes, he told to his disciples, I was instructed by my spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, to publish books about Krishna. That's why I'm always asking you, where are the books? Where are the books? Where are the books? Maybe you remember this class which Srila Prabhupada gave in Allahabad or Ahmedabad. I don't exactly remember the place. It was in 1977. It is one of the last classes of Srila Prabhupada where he is emphasizing the importance of book distribution. So how one can get out from this dream, from this sleep? The answer is given in Bhagavad Gita, in this verse number 1.24, where Arjuna is called Gudakesha. Gudakesha means one who conquered the sleep. It is one of the qualities, one of the names of Arjuna. In purport to the verse 1.24, Srila Prabhupada writes, in this verse, Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha. Gudaka means sleep, and one who conquers sleep is called Gudakesha. Sleep also means ignorance. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna. It is the solution. How one can conquer ignorance, sleep. We should make friends with Krishna. We should make friends with Krishna. And Krishna, he is saying in Adi Purana, it is not that my devotee is one who is declaring that he is my devotee. My devotee is one who is devotee of my devotees. It means to make friendship with Krishna. First of all, it means that we should have good relationships with devotees, with seniors, juniors, those who are on equal level. And then by power of sadhu sangha, we will be able to conquer this sleep and ignorance. Also in Nectar of Devotion it is written that if someone is trying to spread Krishna's glory by doing preaching mission, by distributing books and so on, it means he is acting as Krishna's friend in case when he is spreading his glory. So it is also the way how one can act as Krishna's friends by taking part in preaching mission, directly, indirectly. And if we are connected with this preaching mission, we will feel energy and this sleepiness will not be covering us too much. Hare Krishna. Verse number 36. And Taruna Jagannath Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sukham tvi idanim trividam srinuvi bharata sabha abhyasat ramate yatra dukkantam cha nigachati. O best of Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys, and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. Rich.
Hare Krishna. It is also introductional verse. So Taruna Jagannath Prabhuji, you please read the next one also.
Yat tat agri visam eva pariname amar topamam tat sukam satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization is said to be happiness in the mood of goodness.
Hare Krishna. So you see, Ananda Maya Bhyasat, it is the statement from Vedanta Sutra 1.1.12, Vedanta Sutra 1.1.12. In introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada writes that this desire to be happy is really natural for a living entity. Anandamaya Bhyasat means that the nature of living entity is to search for Ananda, or better to say, to be situated in Ananda. So everyone is searching for this happiness or for this bliss, for this Ananda. And in purport, in introduction, Srila Prabhupada writes, Krishna means the highest pleasure, and it is confirmed that the Supreme Lord is the reservoir or storehouse of all pleasure. We are all hankering after pleasure. The living entities like the Lord are full of consciousness and they are after happiness. The Lord is perpetually happy, and if the living entities associate with the Lord, cooperate with Him, and take part in His association, then they also become happy. Maybe you remember this analogy from Sri Upanishad about the hand or finger of which is lying down on the street. If it is lying down on the street, then it is useless. But if it is functioning as a part of someone's body, then finger becomes happy, or hand becomes happy. So the same way, if we are practicing Krishna consciousness, it is our natural position. If not, then like it was said in previous verse, if we are speaking about happiness in modes of material nature, then this happiness sometimes sometimes comes to the end of all distress. Sometimes, if we are speaking about conditioned happiness. So, happiness which is described here in the verse number 37, happiness in mode of goodness, is achievable if person rejects this idea of sense enjoyment. It is the reason why this happiness in mode of goodness in the very beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like a nectar. First, you feel need of some efforts, or or if you chant, for example, you chant holy names, and for some period of time you feel that this process is tasteless. And then after some time you can feel this taste. It takes time. It is the nature of mode of goodness. And to be able to experience this mode of goodness, two things are needed. Like Lord Shri Krishna was explaining this in Bhagavad Gita, verse 6.35. Asam Shayam Mahabaho, Mano Durni Graham Chalam, Abhyasena Tukauntiya Vairagena Chagrihyate. Two things are needed. Abhyasena, Vairagena. It is verse 6:35. Krishna is saying to Arjuna, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice, abhyasa, and detachment, vairagya. So it is exactly what we are doing. When we are practicing sadhana, waking up early in the morning, chanting prayers, performing devotional service, abhyasena vairagena. Abhyasa vairagya. Vairagya means we are not engaged in materialistic activities for sense enjoyment just because our senses are involved in abhyasa, in practice, in devotional service. So if these two things are there, abhyasa and vairagya, then gradually one can become accustomed to sattvic happiness, to this sattvic lifestyle where this happiness in the very beginning it is experienced like poison, then it is like nectar. So it is just the question of habit. Like once I've heard one story here in Central Asia. Bhakti Bhringu Govinda Maharaj was our GBC for some period of time, and one disciple approached him and he asked Bhakti Bhringu Govinda Maharaj, I experienced difficulties with waking up early in the morning, what should I do? And Bhakti Bhringu Govinda Maharaj told, you just wake up early in the morning till you will become 50 years old. That's all. And this disciple, he asked, and what will happen next? And Bhakti Bhringu Govinda Maharaj, he responded, and after that you will become accustomed. It will be like a habit for you. So we should just be stable in our practice, abhyasena, vairagena, and then just the result of this will be that we will become stable because it will be our habit, our natural lifestyle, which at the beginning is experienced like poison, then it is like a nectar. Verse number 38. And Bhakti Priya Madhavi Mataji, would you like to read the verse? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vishayendriya samyoga yattad agre amrutopamam pariname visham iva tat sukham rajasam smritam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects and which appears like nectar at first but poison at the end is said to be of the nature of passion. Hare Krishna.
So you see the classical example of happiness in mode of passion. It is passionate relationships between young men and young women. In purport, this example is given that they want to see each other, they are having sexual intercourse. It can be very pleasing to the senses. At the end or after some time, it becomes just like poison. They are separated, or there is divorce, there is lamentation, sorrow, and so on. Such happiness is always in the mode of passion. So again, this purport is not against Grihastha ashrama. It is against the idea of married life for sense enjoyment. Grihastha ashrama, it is the whole science, how to build a good Grihastha ashrama. It is not my area of qualification. If someone needs this knowledge, you just take particular seminars or courses for that. Here, in this purport to the verse 18.38, just the example of these relationships between opposite sexes for sense enjoyment is given. And Grihastha ashrama, it is the way how it can be regulated according to religious principles. It is another story. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is nice example of these relationships, of this happiness and mode of passion, and how it looks like. Verse 3, 31, 34. Lord Kapiladev is describing such relationships. One should not associate with a coarse fool who is bereft of the knowledge of self-realization, who is no more than a dancing dog in the hands of a woman. It is the opposite side, opposite side of these Rajasic relationships, that they become dependent on each other. Dancing dog in the hands of a woman. Also, it destroys one consciousness. This Rajasic happiness destroys one consciousness. Here in purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, advancement in Krishna consciousness involves developing the qualities of truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, gravity, intelligence in spiritual knowledge, simplicity, material opulence, fame, forgiveness, and control of the mind and the senses. All these qualities are to be manifested with the progress of Krishna consciousness. But if one associates with a Shudra, a foolish person who is like a dancing dog in the hands of a woman, then he cannot make any progress. Moreover, if one becomes like this dancing dog, then what happens with that person according to the previous verse? 3:31, 33. He becomes, it is about dancing dog. This verse is about dancing dog. He becomes devoid of truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, gravity, spiritual intelligence, shyness, austerity, fame, forgiveness, control of the mind, control of the senses, fortune, and all such opportunities. So it is the price which one has to pay if he takes lifestyle in mode of passion. If he takes the philosophy of life in mode of passion, then all these subtle things, these exalted qualities will not be with him. Because these lower modes of material nature makes one more conditioned by material energy. And now, because we're really lacking of time, I will read the last two verses just by myself, and then we will take your questions if you will be having the questions. Verse 38 is about happiness in ignorance. Classical example is the intoxications, different kinds of intoxications. Tobacco, alcohol, different types of drugs, and so on. It is about that. That happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance. It is how different things, drugs, alcohol, and so on, they are contaminating one's consciousness, and because of that, person actually becomes half unconscious, and because of that there is some kind of happiness, like it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, only two categories. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Only two categories. Only two categories of living entities are happy here in material world. One category is transcendentalists, those who are transcendental, those who are Paramahamsas, Mahabhagavatas. It is one category. The another category, if a person is complete fool, only in this case he can be really happy in material world. But we are in between. Because of that, sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are not. So there are only two ways. The way of elevation, the way of degradation. In both cases, if you will succeed, in case of elevation or in case of degradation, in both cases you will be happy, but it will be different kinds of happiness. But those who are conscious, those who are in between, they are able to feel the duality of material world, and then they can experience different things in their lives, not only happiness. And the last verse for today, it is verse number 40, and a very short purport to this verse. Very important conclusion regarding these categories of knowledge, activity, performer of activity, understanding, determination, and happiness in different modes of material nature. Krishna makes the conclusion: there is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. Purport. The Lord here summarizes the total influence of the three modes of material nature all over the universe. Even great demigods, because they belong to Jiva Tattva category. They also can be under mode of passion or ignorance. We have different examples. The most classical example is the example of Indra in Govardhan Lila. Indra. Or great Prajapati Daksha in this Lila with Shiva, Sati, and Daksha. Great personalities, but they also can commit mistakes. We should stick to Krishna consciousness, we should chant Hare Krishna, listen to the instructions of spiritual master, read books, practicing devotional service. Then it will be protecting us from different strange ideas that can come to our minds time to time. Hare Krishna. If you have some questions, please ask these questions. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Naratam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So can we say that even Lord Brahma is affected by the three modes of material nature?
Well, he also Jiva Tattva, his body consists from pure intelligence as far as I've heard. But yes, he committed this mistake in Brahma Vimohana Lila.
Yes.
We are not such people or personalities who are judging, who can judge him. He is our Adiguru of our Sampradaya, but anyway, he himself, he accepts. He is saying that, yes, I've committed mistakes. It is 14th chapter of 10th canto of Bhagavatam. So yes. Of course, we can also say that it is Krishna's arrangement. It is Krishna who wanted to arrange all this in such way, but anyway, the imperfections are here. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Naratam Prabhuji. Some more questions, maybe Dwarkadish Prabhuji.
Prabhu, earlier we saw in the text, I think Srimad Bhagavatam, the word statue. We used to call the murtis or deities. Why they use the word statue? Statue is non-living kind of thing, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, why they use statue there? Is it an offense? Sorry, Prabhu. Is it an offense to call statue on the deities?
Well, because Srila Prabhupada himself wrote it, likely it is not an offense. Likely our strategy here should be that we should put some endeavors to understand why he is using such a word. He is founder Acharya and looks like he doesn't have an intention or idea to commit any offense. Statue. Well, you see, it is the phenomenon of Archi Vigraha form that because we don't have this Primanjana Chhurita Bhakti Vilochanena, we don't have these eyes that are covered by love, by ointment of love. Because we don't have this, he mercifully accepts this process that let me be manifested for these conditioned souls in the form of gross matter, in the form which will be visible for them. But in Shri Upanishad, you will read in one of purports, you are going to study Shri Upanishad also, Srila Prabhupada, he gives the explanation that because all energies belongs to Krishna and because he is all-powerful, so it's not difficult for him to convert material energy to spiritual energy or spiritual energy to material energy. So Archi Vigraha, it is such form that, okay, it is a form which is made from stone or metal or marble or whatever, or wood, but if you follow particular procedure to install this deity, and if this form is made according to so-called Shilpa Shastra. Shilpa Shastra, it is a category of Shastra where the proportions of the deity are described and how to make the deity and all these things. So if everything is done in authoritative way and if deity is installed in an authoritative way, then some kind of conversion is happening in such way that externally we see the form, but we can pray to this form and our prayers will be accepted just because this process is supported by Shilpa Shastra and by other Vedic scriptures. Because of that, it is how Supreme Lord facilitates our spiritual advancement, because we cannot see the spirit with our material eyes. Because of that, he arranges in such way. It is called Archi Vigraha. Mm-hmm.
So it only becomes deity after the prana prastha. It only becomes a deity or murti after the installation of prana prastha.
Again?
It only becomes a deity or murti. Before that, it is a statue. So during the installation of the deity, they use the prana prastha, right? The ceremony called prana prastha.
Prana pratishtha. Prana pratishtha. Yes.
Pratishtha, then becomes a deity.
Well, in some cases, if we are speaking about Shri Shri Gaur Nitai deity, even installation in some cases, if we are speaking about home deities that belong to some grihasthas, it is not obvious even to install. They manifest themselves just because the worshipping is going on. But again, because any deity worship at home can be performed, personal deity worship can be performed only by permission of spiritual master, because of that. So the same way, if we have to get his permission, the same way we can simultaneously we can ask him, should I install my deities or not? And maybe in some cases there will be need, in some cases there is no need. But again, ye yathamam prapadyante tam stathaiva bhajamyaham. It is the verse from 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He is reciprocating according to our devotion. And because Gaur Nitai are very merciful, so because of that they really want to reciprocate. And if we do some kind of worship through the photo of our spiritual master, actually we meditate in such way that it is not that we are worshipping, but he is worshipping, and because he has qualification, and we are just doing something physically, we are putting plates with bhoga and so on, but it is actually he is pujari here in this process. Then it works. Mhm.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, dear devotees. See you on Monday. Thank you very much for your kind attention and patience. I hope that on Monday we will be able to take more of your questions. Just such chapter, big chapter, what I can do. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasinubhyavacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare